ואני אשיר עוזך, ורננה בוקר חסדך, כי היית משגב לי ומנוס ביום צרי. ואני אשיר עוזך, ורננה בוקר חסדך, כי היית משגב לי ומנוס ביום צרי. ואני אשיר עוזך, ורננה בוקר חסדך, כי היית משגב לי ומנוס ביום צרי.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
We are so fired up to celebrate Shabbat, Karagil, usual way, but with an opportunity for special celebration of special people in our shul and our communities. Is just a blessing and amazing feeling. So God willing, we'll bring that into our prayer. We're going to rise together on page 103. Thank God to be here together, to daven, to pray, to start bringing back the community as we'd like.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan l'sachvivina להבחין בין יום ובין לילה.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשני בצלמו.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשני בת חורי.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשני ישראל.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם פוקח עברי.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם מלביש המרומים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם מתיר אסורים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם זוקף גבובים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם רוקע הארץ על המים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המכין מצעדי גבר.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשה לי כל צורכי.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם עוזי ישראל בגבורה.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם עוטר ישראל בתפארה.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם הנותן ליהב כוח.
אמן.
122. ברוך שעבר היה עולם ברוך הוא. ברוך עושה בראשים ברוך עושה מחיים ברוך מלכים ברוך למלך עולם יחיד
חלמים מלך משובח ומפורד יד שמו הגדול. ברוך אתה אדוני מלך מעולם ותשבחו.
Amen. May be seated.
So Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat
friends
Shalom.
who are actually here with us in the sanctuary, and those of you who are joining us not only from your homes in Raleigh, but really in other places as well. We're so glad to be together on Shabbat. So this Shabbat that we find ourselves in, I want to make two connections between both where we are in the Omer and where we are in the Parsha as a way of creating a kavanah, an intention for our davening this morning. So the first is that we're counting the Omer from Passover to Shavuot, and we're concluding the week of Hod. And the week of Hod, the spiritual trait that we're focusing on, our attention on, is gratitude. Cultivation of gratitude, of being grateful for where we are, how we are, exactly as we are, even in the world's brokenness and fragility and disarray at times. And in Parashat Emor, the Torah portion for this week, one of the things that we are introduced to are the series of holidays, what the rhythm of the year, the Jewish year, will be. And that God is giving us these fixed times, really intended for us to be joyful. And ironically, these fixed times actually give us permission to kind of step out of time, to stop feeling rushed, to stop killing time, to stop biding time. I know Meirav is in a biding time moment, sort of waiting for the end. Maybe other seniors are feeling some of that as well. But Shabbat, among other holidays, is an invitation for us to step out of that sort of orientation to time and really just behold the preciousness of this moment, but also the journey that we've taken to get to this moment. And hopefully to bring in a quality of hod, of gratitude as we do that. So as we move through our tefillah this morning, our prayers, I hope that you won't worry so much about being on the right page or the right word, but really dialed in to the gift of time, this moment, and the gift of being grateful, which is the greatest balm for the soul that I know. So we're going to continue this morning on page 126. At the bottom, we thank God for helping us along our journey, all of us in our own ways, and really guiding us with chesed, with loving kindness, and helping redeem us in our most difficult moments that allow us to thrive right here and now. Va'ani b'chasdecha b'tachti, yageh libi b'yeshuatecha. Va'ani b'chasdecha b'tachti, yageh libi b'yeshuatecha. Va'ani b'chasdecha Batachti, yageh libi b'yeshuatecha. Va'ani b'chasdecha batachti, yageh libi b'yeshuatecha.
Ashir l'Adonai,
Ashir l'Adonai, Ashir l'Adonai, King Amalalai. Ashir l'Adonai, Ashir l'Adonai, Ashir l'Adonai, King Amalalai. Ashir l'Adonai, Ashir l'Adonai, Ashir l'Adonai, King Amalalai. Ashir l'Adonai, Ashir l'Adonai, Ashir l'Adonai, King Amalalai. We continue with Ashrei, page 136. We focus our attention on this quality of osher, which is a sense of equanimity, that we can be okay with exactly where we are, right here, right now. I know for these seniors, but also for all of us as we move through our lives, there's all these ways in which sometimes the situation matches exactly what we want it to be. Sometimes it falls short or exceeds or is different. But part of our spiritual work is practicing being full and whole and okay with exactly how things are. Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha Od Yalelucha Od Yalelucha Ashrei
מלכותך מלכות כל עולם. בכל כה וכל השם. קודש השם קודשנו.
ואנחנו נברך מעתה ועד עולם. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Continue now with Psalm 150, page 141. The very last line, Kol haneshama tehallelia. Every soul has its own blessing, its own prayer of gratitude to sing, to praise. And I'm feeling particularly grateful for these senior souls, these young senior souls, who are gathered here with us this morning to celebrate them and their own individual song that they are already singing and will hopefully get louder. Hallelujah,
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. El Bekocho, hallelujah, hallelujah, Vivorata, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hikashofar, hallelujah, hallelujah, Hov machol, hallelujah, minim ve'ugav, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Seleshama, hallelujah, tziltzele trua, ola neshama teha, hallelujah, ola neshama teha, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
We take a deep breath, Nishima Mukha. As we prepare for Nishmat Kol Chai, page 145. Nishmat Kol Chai, Tevarech Shimcha, Adonai Eloheinu. Nishmat Kol Chai, Tevarech Shimcha, Adonai Eloheinu.
Bottom 146.
Mi melach u'mi shvelach u'mi arok lach El hagadol hagibor ve'hanora El elyon kone shamayim v'haaretz Nelelecha nishabechecha nfa'elcha nvarech et shem kodshecha kamur
LeDavid b'china shirnai v'chol ravai
et shem kodsho El b'tatzmat uzecha
הגדול בכבוד שמך
הגיבור לנצח והנורא בנורותיך
המלך היושב
הכיסא ונישא
147
שוכן עד מהרו וקדוש שמו
וחתורנו צדיקים באדוני, שם מנהבה תהילה.
בצדיקים תתהלה.
ובדברי צדיקות תתברך.
ובלשון חסידים תתרומם.
ובקרב קדושי תתגדל, וקלת רבבות
עמך
בית
בית ישראל. להודות, להלל, לשבח, לפעל, לרומם, לעדן, לברך, לעולה, לקלס על כל דברי שירות ותשבחות.
David,
בן
please
ישי,
rise. 148.
עבדך
משיחך
משיחך,
ישתבח שמך לעד
מלכנו.
מלך הגדול הקדוש בשמיים. ברכו באמת העולם.
ברכות והודאות מדליה עולם, ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך שמו
המלך גדול בתשבחות, אל הודעות אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה, מלך העולמים, יתגדל ויתקדש שמרבה, ולמד דברו חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, וחייכון ומכון ובחתכון בית ישראל,
ועלה בזמן הריב אמרו עמי ישמע במבורר לעולם ומעל מיה.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה
בריחוה
מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בלמה וימרו אמן.
149.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
May be seated. 150.
ברוך אתה.
ברוך אתה.
אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם יוצרו ובורא חושך עושה שלום ובורא את הכל הכל ידוע אין כרך אדוני אלוהינו בעולם הזה ואין זולתך מכנו לחיי עולם הבא. אפס פרטך גוי לרמת המשיח ואין זמן משיחנו יד המתים.
151.
אל אדון
על כל המעשים ברוך ומבורך ופיו נשמה גדלו וטובו מעלה עולם דעת ותבונה
סובבים אותו
המתגאה על חיות הקודם ונדע וכבוד על המרכבה זכות ומשול לחיסו חסד ורחמים לפני כבודו טובים ואורו שברא אלוהינו יצרם בדעת בבינה ובשכל כוח וגבורה נתן בהם ליערודים בקרב דבם אלי זיו וקינו גנה זיום
לכל
העולם זכים וצאתם וששים בבואם עושים מהם הרצון קונם כבחרון נונים לשמור סולה ורינה זכר מעבודו הרע לשמש ויזרק אורה והפגין צורה הלבנה שבע אביהו בנים וחיות
הקודש,
קודש.
אשר שבת מכל המעשים.
152, את כבודו תפארת מנחה, עונר ומשבת, יזרשם משבת, עונר לאדוני. לפיכך יבורכו. סלע תתרוק סלע מלכנו, ישתבח. Top 153.
כולם אהובים, כולם
נאומים,
כולם
גיבורים,
כולם
עושים באימה וביראה.
רצון,
כולם
פותחים
יביהם
לפיהם בקדושה
תורה
ותורה ושירה
זמרה יושבים ולבנים
ומריצים ומקדישים וממליכים
את שם האל המלך הגדול הגיבור והנורא הקדוש הוא למקבלים עליהם עול מלכות שמיים זה מזה ונענים רשות זה לזה להקדיש להיות רם בנחת רוח בשפה ברורה ובנעימה קדושה כולם כאחד עונים ואומרים ביראה קדוש 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 לנצרות מלוך על הארץ יבודו
והאופנים
והיוד הקודם ורעש גדול
מנסים לעומת צרפים
לעומת המשעבדים אומרי ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו ליל ברוך מרדכי וקיים שכל שלום
אור חדש על ציון צעיר ונזכה כולנו
מהרה לאורו
ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות.
Page 154, bring our seat together to prepare for Shema Yisrael. All is one. Abba Tanonai Eloheinu Chemla Dvorah Ken Techonenu Ki B'Shem Kodshecha Nagil Nizmash.
וקרבתנו לשמך קדוש על הבאמת להודות לך ויחדך באהבה ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך שמו
הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה.
ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ולדך בדרך, ושוכבך וקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, ויעילו תותפו בין עיניך, וכתבת על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. Page 156, בהם שמות, אתם בתארצכם בטובים. האפרונה בכם, על אבכם. תמז ביתך.
לדור ודור הוא קיים ושמו קיים וכיסא נכון ומלכותו ומלכותו לעד קיים.
157. הראשונים
עד שאתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו מלכנו מלך אבותינו ואמותינו גואלנו גואל אבותינו ואמותינו יוצרנו צור ישועתנו הודנו מצילנו מעולם שמך
אלוהים זולתך עזרת אבותינו ואמותינו אתה ומעולם. Middle 158.
תהילת לאל עליון ברוך וברך
משה מרים בני ישראל
לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה יאמרו כולם מי כמוך בנים אדוני
מי כמוך נדע בקודם נורדי לא עוזב אלה
שירה חדשה שבחו גאולים לשמך אספת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו
ואמרו
אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל גומה בעזרת ישראל גומה ובטח
בניומך יהודה ישראל צור ישראל קומה
גואלנו
אדוני צבאות שמו
קדוש קדוש קדוש
ישראל.
ברוך אתה אדוני
So, Chevra, our feet together, face the arc towards Yerushalayim. Pages 159 through 161, we daven together. Rest is done silently. In your silent prayer, of course, the traditional prayers, but also a chance to reflect on time. You know, we can't stop time or hold it, but we can, as Rabbi Jenny noted before, appreciate it, be grateful for it, hold on to these precious, precious moments, not let them go too quickly through our fingers. So, gratitude for this moment. So, 159 through 161. A chance for personal prayers of gratitude.
Adonai levadai divna uviyagid teilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor HaNorah, El Elyon, גם אל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ופוקד מושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני וחיי מתים את הרב להושיע מוריד הטל מקלקל חיים בחסד
מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, משני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לה, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה.
ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני
בשמו
לחיי המתים.
אמן. קדש עמה בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו איש ממרום, הגדול על יד נביאיך, ואל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני אלוהינו בארץ כבודו, במפורש גדול, אדיר חזק משמים גול, מנזיר לעומת רביב, לעומת ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד עיני ממקומו. מכינו תביע ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך את ציון, יקרוב בימינו לעולם ועד תשכון. תגדל ותגדל את אור ירושלים עירך, לדור ודור ונצח נצח. ועינינו תראינה אחותך כדבר אמור בשירי עוזך, על ידי דוד משיח זכרך, אם לא לעולם חייך ציון לדור ודור, הללויה.
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו בפירוש לעולם ועד, כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני
בשמו הגדול, אמן.
shalom bimromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol
Israel, ve'al kol yoshvei David, Amen. 167.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
אמן.
והלמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחיי חורף ומכון, ובחיי תכל בית ישראל, בגלה בזמן קריב והימרו.
Amen. שמי רבה ומורה, לעולם עמי יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה.
בריאו.
לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן ועלמה והימרו.
אמן.
תתקבץ לתרבותון לכל ישראל, קדם אבהון דבשמיא והימרו.
אמן.
יהי שלום הרב בן שמעיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל והימרו.
אמן.
עושה שלום ממרומיו,
הוא יעשה שלום.
עלינו ועל כל ישראל
ועל כל יושבי תבל ויאמרו.
Amen.
So page 168, we prepare for Seder Kriyat Torah with a full Torah service for the first time in a long time, first time in forever, we'll say. So great to see and have our laners and our chavre from our high school students here. So we continue page 168, Hotza'at Torah.
הן כמוך אלוהים אדוני ואין כמעשיך מלכות
כל עולמים ומשלך בכל דור ודור אדוני מלך אדוני מלך אדוני לא לעולם ועד אדוני עוז למועדי
אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום ויהי בנשוא אהרון ויאמר משה
אדוני ויעבודו אויביך וינוסו משנאיך מפניך כי בציון תצא תורה כי בציון תורה ודבר
אדוני
מירושלים ברוך שנתן
תורה ברוך
שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. Page 171, we have one of our esteemed graduates leading us responsively in Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadol Adonai Yitzim, Oneram Ema Shemo
Adonai
Come on, let's do it. We can give it elbows. No kissing, guys, okay? No kissing. Mazel tov. Say
שכחול בשמיים ובארץ לך אדוני הממלכה בימין נעשה לכל ראש רוממות אלוהינו והשתחוו לדם רגליו קדוש הוא רוממות אלוהינו והשתחוו נהר קודשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו.
Okay. See, this is loving elbows that we give each other. All right. This is so fun. Gavalt. Haven't been this giddy elbowing people in ever. All right. Shabbat shalom, everybody. We are here to read from the Torah. Feels like the first time in forever. It's amazing. Okay. You can follow along in your larger red books for those who are here in the sanctuary. And those at home, you can follow along on the live stream. There should be a link for the Torah reading. It's Parshat Emor. Emor has kind of two main themes, really. It has a real review of different aspects of our holiday cycle. As Rabbi Jenny noted before, it kind of reviews all the holiday. In fact, a lot of our reading, I believe today, will be focused on the holiday cycle and all other aspects of the priests from the book of Leviticus, the third book of the Torah, which deals with priestly behaviors and very specific practices specifically for the priests, sadly in terms of burial and various things for their practices too. So we're in chapter 22, page 722. We invite Ellie Schneider as our first Torah reader. Is that correct?
Actually, I'm reading for Ellie.
Oh, slicha. Our first Torah reader is Kathy. Yefeh. We also are honoring, of course, all our teachers and various leaders who've guided these kids. And for the first aliyah.
Yes.
Do I actually know the first aliyah? Do we have the aliyot?
There's a list.
Nachon. Okay. This is the new Gabbai sheet. We're calling Lev Cohen. Nachon? For the first aliyah. Vayazor v'agim v'shkosim v'amar mein akol havu godo leilahundu kavod laTorah Yamod Lev Hillel ben Moshe Kohen Rachel Ilana L'aliyah Rishona Baruch shetan Torah Moishe Bishato V'atem advikim Adonai Elochem chayim hayom.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vadaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el Aharon vel banav. V'el kol bnei Yisrael. V'amarta alehem ish ish mi beit Yisrael. Umin hager v'Yisrael. Asher yakriv korbano lechol nidrehem. Uchol nidvotam. Asher yakrivu ladonai le'olah. L'rtzonechem tamim zachar babakar baksavim uva'izim kol asher bohom lo takrivu ki lo l'ratzon yiyeh lachem.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Temet V'chai Olam Nata Betochenu Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen. Shikoch, Levi. Okay. Our second aliyah, we're going to have our reader, a Balat Koreh, is Amy Rips, our esteemed teacher and leader. We are also, in our first second aliyah, we invite Sophie Finkelstein to come forward. Tamod Shifra Yisraela Bat Abba Lev HaKohen V'chaya Toiba Laliyah Shenit.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. Ve'ish ki akriv zevach shamim. Adonai lefalei neder olin dava. Babakar opatson tamim yeh retzon komum. Lo yevo averet. O shavur o charutz o yabelet. O garav o yalefet. Lo takrivu ele ladonai. Ve'isheh lo titnu mehem al mizbeach ladonai v'shur v'seh sharo v'kalut nidava ta'aseh oto u'neder lo yiratzeh u'ma'och v'chatut v'naptuk v'charut lo takrivu ladonai v'chartachem lo ta'asuhu u'miyad ben nechar lo takrivu et lechem alechem michol elek ki mashchatam bahem mumbaham lo yiratzu
Lachem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Shkoyach. Our third aliyah, we invite
down at the bottom.
Dean 11 to come forward. We are in verse 26, page 723. Tamod Dina Hinda bat Simcha Yaakov Alevi v'Zelda Dalia Shlishit.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Shor hu chesef o hez ki v'leid v'haya shivat yamim tachat imo. Umiyom hashmini v'hala yeratzeh lekorban isha l'Adonai v'shor hoseh hoto et beno. Lo tishchatu bayom echad v'chi tizbechu zevach toda l'Adonai lirtzonachem tizbahu bayom hahu yechel lo totiru mimenu had boker ani Adonai ushmartem mitzvotai v'asitem hotam ani Adonai v'lo tehallelu et shem kodshi v'nikdashti b'toch b'nei Yisrael ani Adonai mekadishchem amotzi etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim li'od lachem le'Elohim ani
Adonai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet b'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Shkoyach. To our fourth aliyah, we call Abigail Bloom to come forward. We are in verse 1, page 724. Tamod Esther Orabat Ruvin Binyamin aliyah haravi'it.
Baruch atah Adonai hamvarach. Baruch et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta alehem modei Adonai asher takrivu otam mikrei kodesh elehem moadai sheshet yamim te'aseh melacha u'bayom hashvi'i Shabbaton mikra kodesh kol melacha lo ta'asuhu Shabbat hi Adonai bechol
Mosvotechem. Shkoyach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Shkoyach. Shkoyach. Beautiful. Tov, our fifth aliyah, we're verse 4, page 725. Invite Eli Schneider come forward for this aliyah. and her father is the Bal Koreh. Ta'amod liba Gavriela bat Zelig Yitzchak v'Chana l'Aliyah Chamishit.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen. Ele moadei Adonai mikrei kodesh asher tikru otam b'moadam v'chodesh harishon barba'a asar v'chodesh ben harbaim pesach l'Adonai v'chamisha asar yom hachodesh hazeh hag hamatzot l'Adonai shivat yamim matzot tohelu Bayom harishon mikra kodesh yihye lachem kol molechet avodah lo ta'asu v'hikratem ishe l'Adonai shivat yamim bayom hashvi'i mikra kodesh kol molechet avodah lo ta'asu.
Sushkoyach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet b'chayei olam nata b'tochinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Mazal tov, shkoyach. Tov, our sixth aliyah. We invite Langdon Aarons to come forward. We're in verse 9, page 725, and our Balat Koreh is Bani Leach. Yamod Shalom Lev ben Avram udvora Miriam l'aliyah hashishit.
Baruch hu Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch le'olam va'ed.
Baruch hu Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta alehem ki tavohu el haaretz asher ani noten lachem uksartem et ketzira v'havetem et omer reshit ketzirechem el hakohen v'henif et haomer lifnei Adonai lirtonechem mimachorat hashabat yenifenu hakohen va'asitem V'yom hanitechem et ha'omer keves tamim ben shnato ve'ola l'Adonai u'minchato shnei esronim solet belulav Hashem yishel Adonai reach nichoach v'nizko yain revi'it hahin v'lechem v'kali v'charmel lo tochelu ad etzem hayom hazeh ad haviyachem et korban Elohechem Chukat olam l'darotechem v'chol moshvotechem.
Shkoyach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Shkoyach. Langdon. Beautiful job. Tov, our seventh aliyah, we invite Meirav Solomon to come forward. We are reading verse 15, page 726. Ta'amod Meirav bat Sheva bat Harav Moshe Shlomo ve'Harav Yocheved Rachel l'aliyah hashvi'it.
Baruch hu Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen. ותסרתם לכם ממחרת השבת מיום אביכם את המר תנופה 7 שבתות תמימות תהיינה עד ממחרת השבת השביעית תספרו 50 יום והקרבתם מנחה חדשה לאדוני ממושבותיכם תביאו לחם תנופה 12 שנים סולת תהיינה חמץ תאפנה ביקורים לאדוני והקרבתם על הלחם 7 כבשים תמימים בני שנה ופר במקר 1 בעלים 2 יהיו עולה לאדוני ומנחתם ונזקיהם אישי ריח מכוח לאדוני ועשיתם זריזים 1 לחטאת ו2 כבשים בני שנה לזבח שמים והניף הכהן אותם על לחם הביקורים תנופה לפני אדוני על 2 כבשים קודש יהיו לאדוני לכהן וקראתם בעצם היום הזה מקרא קודש יהיה לכם כל מלאכת עבודה לא תעשו חוקת עולם בכל משרותיכם לדורותיכם וקוצריכם קציר אצלכם לא תכלה פת צייך בקוצרך ולקט קצירך לא תלקט ואני ולגר תעזוב אותם אני אדוני
אלוהיכם.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Shekach, we rise together. יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה, ויעמד יברח חירותי והמליך מלכותי, ויעיירון וביומך וחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן גריבים אמרו אמן, יש מרבה מבורך, לעולם ומעלה יתברך וישתבח וידבר וידרמן וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמר קודשה בריחו לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה ואהדה ונחמתה מאירן ועלמה ומרוה. Amen. You may be seated. Our Mafter Aliyah, we call forward Spencer Leach. We're on verse 19, page 727. Yamod Yoshua ben Yaakov v'Brina Esther lamaftir.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vasitem sirizim echad lechatat ushnei kvasim b'nei shana lezevach shlamim v'henif hakohen otam al lechem abikurim tnufa lifnei Adonai al shnei kvasim kodesh yiyu l'Adonai lekohen ukratem be'etzem hayom hazeh mikra kodesh yeh lechem kol melechet avodah lo tasu hukat olam b'chol mishrotechem l'dorotechem b'kutzrechem eketsir etzchem lo techaleh patzaycha b'kutzrecha v'laket ketzircha lo telaket le'ani v'lager tazov otam ani Adonai
Elohechem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Shekach, we rise, we actually lift and dress the Torah again, one of the first times in forever. Another Shechianu moment here. Yamod Moshe ben Kaman HaKohen v'Esther HaMagbiat Amod Rachel Ilana bat Shlomo Moshe HaKohen v'Tova HaKolelet V'zot HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe Livnei Bnei Yisrael Al Pi Adonai Amoyed
Maybe seat everyone. Our Haftarah, you can find on page 735, the prophet Ezekiel. And our Maftir Haftarah is offered by Spencer Leach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nevi'im tovim v'ratzav v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo Uvinviye ha'emet v'tzedek.
Amen.
V'hakohanim halvim b'nei tzadok asher shameru et mishmeret migdashi bid'ot b'nei Yisrael me'alai hema yikrevu elai l'sharteni V'yamedu lefanai lehakriv li levadam ne'um Adonai Elohim hema yavo'u el mikdashi v'hema yikrevu el shulchani lesharteni v'shamaru et mishmarti v'haya bevo'am el sha'arei hechatzer hapnimit Big day, fishtim yilbashu v'lo ya'alei alehem tamer b'shartam b'sha'arei hechatzer hapnimit v'avaita pa'arei fishtim yihiyu al rosham u'michnesei fishtim yihiyu al monehem lo yachkeru bayaza uvtzeitam el hechatzer hachitzona el hechatzer hachitzona El ha'am yifshatu et bigdehem asher hema meshartim bam v'hinihu otam belishchot hakodesh v'lavashu begadim acherim v'lo yikadashu et ha'am bevigdehem v'rosham lo yigalechu fera lo yishalechu kisom yichsemu et rashehem v'yayin lo yishtu kol kohen Bevo'am el hechatzer hapnimit v'ha'almana ugrusha lo yavo lo yiklu lachem lenashim ki im betulo mizera beit Yisrael v'ha'almana asher tihyeh almana mikohen yikachu v'atami yoru ben kodesh lecho uven tameh letahor yodium Ve'alriv Hema ya'amdu lemishpat b'mishpatai yishpatuchu ve'ed torotai ve'ed chukotai b'chol ma'adai yishmoru ve'ed shabtotai yekadeshu ve'al meit adam lo yavo letom'ah ki im le'av u'em u'vein u'vat le'ach Ulachot asher lo hayata le'ish yitama'u v'acharei tohorato shivat yamim yispru lo uvyom bo'o el hakodesh el hechatzer hapnimit l'sharet ba'kodesh yakriv chatato ne'um Adonai Elohim v'hayata lachem lenachala ani nachalatam, ve'achuzat, lo titenu lahem b'Yisrael, ani achuzatam. Hamincha ve'hachatat ve'ha'asham hema yochlum, v'chol herem b'Yisrael lahem hiyeh, v'reishit, kol b'kurei chol, v'chol terumat kol, mikol terumotechem lakohanim yiheh, v'reishit arisotechem titenu lakohen, lehaniach bracha el beitecha, kol nevela utrefa min ha'of umin ha'bhema, lo yochlu hakohanim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzadik bechol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, ha'medaber umkayem, she'kol devarav emet v'tzedek. Ne'eman atahu Adonai Eloheinu, v'ne'emanim devarecha, v'davarecha d'midvarecha, achor lo yashuv rekam, ki el melech ne'eman, v'rechaman ata baruch atah Adonai, ha'el ha'ne'eman bechol devarav. Rachem al Tzion ki hi beit chayenu, v'la'aluva nefesh toshia, b'mhara v'yamenu, b'mhara v'yamenu, baruch atah Adonai, mesameach Zion bevanecha.
Amen.
Samchenu Adonai Eloheinu be'Eliyahu hanavi avdecha, uv'malchut be'David meshihecha, b'mhara yavo, ve'yagel libenu, al kiso lo yeshev zar, v'lo yinchalu recherim et kvodo, ki v'shem kodshecha nishbata lo, shelo yichbenero le'lam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai, Magen David.
Amen.
Al ha-Torah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al hanvi'im, ve'al yom ha-Shabbat hazeh, shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, likdusha v'limnucha, lechavod ultifaret. Al ha-kol, Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, umvarchim ota, yitbarach shimcha befi kol chai, tamid le'olam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat.
Amen. Shekoach. Spencer, beautiful job. Amazing. Kol hakavod. We invite all to please rise. We're going to offer a prayer for several encompassing different ideas here of prayer. Usually offer, of course, a prayer for healing, specifically asking for all those in our community and really in the world who are suffering and struggling. Sadly, of course, in light of COVID and all kinds of injustice in our world, there's much to be praying for, particularly given what happened in Israel just yesterday in Lag BaOmer, where nearly 50 people were killed. Some were children and youth, sadly, in a unforeseen accident, or sadly in a course of a religious celebration, young people killed. So we're holding in some who are fighting for their lives. So we're holding them particularly close in our hearts at this time. We're going to our tradition now during this COVID time is we're going to open up the ark and invite you to offer the names quietly who you are holding in your heart. In addition to the ones I've mentioned, those you're holding in your heart who are in need of, please God, of healing. Turn the Torah back to the ark. Are there special honorees, or we should just take care of that? So Deborah and Julia will come forward this time. Yehallelu et Shem Adonai, it is God Shemo levado, Hodo Adonai Shamayim, Vayaren Gered Hasidav, Livnei Yisrael, Yehovah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Avi, Haul Adonai Reilim, Haul Adonai Kavoros, Haul Adonai Givot Sheva, Yisrael Adonai Adonai.
Adonai Lamayim, Elakavonirim, Adonai Almayim Rabim.
Kol Adonai,
Kol Adonai, Vehadar, Kol Adonai, Shover Azim, Vaishaber Adonai, Adar Zehabanon, Vayarkitim כמו עגל, לבנון מסיריון כמו בן רהימים. Kol Adonai, חוצב להבות אש, Kol Adonai, יחיל מדבר, יחיל Adonai מדבר קדש. Kol Adonai, יכול אליי אלוה, ויחשוף יראות ובחלוק כולו אומר כבוד. Adonai Lamavul Yasha, Yeshev Adonai Melech Leolam, Adonai Od Le'amo Yiten, Adonai Yivarech et Amo V'Shalom et Chaimi Lemachazit Kirav Ve'orecha Ve'oshan Derech He'ad Areno Ho'ah Ve'oreti Vodea Shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha V'nashuva V'shameinu Kevdem. Maybe see everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Oh, the Nachas is overflowing, super overflowing. This is so wonderful to be here together and to see our graduates here presenting in various ways. Now we're going to hear some Divrei Torah, some Torah teachings from our class representatives here. And if we figure we'll go in alphabetical order, is that right? So we invite Spencer Leach come forward to offer his interpretation of, last name, Leach. Then Levin, then Solomon. Okay. Spencer, Vakasha. Slow with a smile under that mask, all right? Let's go.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm sort of doubly excited to talk with everyone today. In the previous 4 years, I've got to listen to all the other seniors, talk to the congregation, and excitedly share their college plans, a bit about their Jewish journey, and some wisdom they learned along the way. Typically, they'd also share how Beth Meyer has helped them become the person that they are today. Well, I'm finally here. I've made it this far, and it's my turn to talk to you guys and maybe a few other younger congregants. Although that's just part of why I'm excited to be here today. See, today's parsha is a Mor, and it is certainly a very difficult text to glean lessons from, with all the talk about rules for priests, what they can and can't do, and all the ways they can be unclean. But it was my portion for my bar mitzvah exactly 4 years ago. Oh. See, I get to reuse all that time as a 13-year-old I spent studying that Haftarah. It's like taking the same test twice. And nothing makes somebody this close to graduation happier than getting out of studying. My journey with Beth Meyer has not been quite as long as some of the others here. However, I imagine that it has helped to shape me just as much as anybody else. I'm not sure I had much of a strong Jewish identity when I was a kid. I went to a huge Hebrew school, starting as a pre-K 4-year-old, in a synagogue in the middle of Houston that was really far from where we lived. 50 minutes in a car might not seem like forever, but to me, as a kid, it was forever. And I'm sure it also felt that long to my mom, who had to drive me every week. And for all the talk about Jewish learning and how the most important part of Judaism is the question, I guess that only applied to asking questions, because in second grade, I was so excited about what I knew about Judaism that I was put on a 2-question limit every week. So I could only put my hand up and answer a question twice every week. But in spite of my early Jewish studies and occasional overexuberance, I never really had a Jewish group of friends or really any community to speak of. So when at 12 years old, I moved here to Raleigh and immersed myself in bar mitzvah preparation, I instantly became part of the Jewish congregation. But more importantly, I now had a new Jewish peer group. And sure, much of that preparation is individual, but the shared experiences, the carpools, the Kadima events all made me feel like a real part of a community. We were even madrichim together, and working with the kids here gave me the chance to answer unlimited questions about Judaism. And now I would say that hanging out with other teens at USY every month has become something I look forward to every month. Especially with all these COVID challenges, having that group and those events means so much to me. We are a pretty diverse group, and outside of being Jewish, we don't even share that much in common. But you know what? We had some of the best times just eating, talking, and playing games together at USY dinners. As I head off this summer to study engineering at Virginia Tech, I can only hope to find a friend group that is this awesome. Regardless, I know I will have friendships from Beth Meyer that will always be here with my Raleigh Jewish community. Before I wrap up, I'd like to come back to this week's Parsha. Parsha Amor is what I studied when I was welcomed to my Jewish community as an adult, and Amor is the same Parsha that will be sending me out to the world where I hope to represent Beth Meyer. When I first studied Amor, I talked about the concept of justice raised within the text of an eye for an eye in my Devar Torah. I focused on what I saw as the failure of this rule of law. As Gandhi said, an eye for an eye and the whole world is blind. That really resonated with me then. Answering a wrong with another wrong just seemed like a way to fill the world with hate and intolerance. So, as I reflect on this bit of text again and use the wisdom from these past 4 years, I think that Gandhi and I were looking at it a little bit wrong. What I now choose to believe is that a mitzvah for a mitzvah and the whole world is kind. Shabbat shalom.
Oh, Chef Fancy. Shikoyach. Kol hakavod. We love this, Fancy. Thank you for the reflection. Shikoyach. Okay, Dina Levin next up. We're honored to have her present at the Devar Torah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My Jewish journey began on the ground floor of this building, learning the Alephet with Maura Graham and feasting on graham crackers and pretzels during snack time. I grew up in these classrooms every Sunday, reluctantly reciting the Via Hafta and hiding under tables to avoid the crushing expectations of reciting basic prayers. And when I entered middle school, I gave in to my cousin's pleas to attend Jewish summer camp. Our first night, I sat next to her at dinner, quietly chanting the prayers. To my surprise, the enthusiastic harmony around me drowned out my monotonous voice, fists pounded the table, and cheers filled the room. Their excitement inspired a sentiment of positive connection with my religion that I'd only ever felt in pieces before. What I felt in the moments of that prayer was the beginning of my journey toward embracing my identity. I left camp with close friends who shared my traditions and a realization that my Judaism came with a culture that I desperately wanted to explore. As I prepared for my bat mitzvah, it was with excitement rather than reluctance, color-coding trope families for my Torah portion and picking out my dresses and music for the party. And as I returned to Hebrew school for high school, rather than hiding under the tables, I became an assistant teacher. I worked in the classroom for 2 years with kids who taught me about the importance of leadership and patience. My Judaism became not something that I hid, but something that I wore with pride. And now, after years of serving as a board member of my chapter of BBYO, the president of Jewish Affinity Group at my school, and an intern at an Israel education organization, I've learned to embrace my culture. I plan to take the values and lessons that I've learned here at Beth Meyer, and from all these organizations, to Duke University, where I will continue to embrace my identity with excitement. Shabbat Shalom.
Shikoyach. Beautiful, Dina. Amazing. I have some of those same memories, too. Beautiful job. Okay, may Rav Solomon, I'm a little familiar with, will offer the last of our Torah.
All right. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Right now, we are all in a moment of transition. Whether we're in the process of getting vaccinated, witnessing our world create a new normal post-COVID, hopefully, or graduating high school, I think we all feel a little bit like a new chapter is unfolding. For me, this is a profound moment of transition as I prepare to enter my own promised land. Like Moshe, who stood on Mount Nebo and looked into the land of Israel, knowing he could not go any further, I imagine my parents and many other parents gathered here today are registering that while they cannot go with us any longer, we are prepared for the next steps of our journey. Like the Israelites, as a class, we have wandered, struggled, kvetched, recircled our steps, gotten lost, tripped, and gotten back up. This past year has been particularly challenging, but hasn't been without its blessings and wise teachings. I'm confident we will be better for it. And like the Israelites, I will not forget what I have learned throughout my journey in the desert. There are 3 things that I will take with me among the many smaller teachings that have shaped my life thus far. The first is Torah, lifelong learning. Beth Meyer has not only been a home for me for the past 16 years, but it has also been a place of immense learning. I've gained a passion and curiosity for Jewish knowledge here, whether in religious school or at Shabbat services, that I'm excited to bring with me to college and beyond. The second is avodah, service. All leaders at Beth Meyer, from my teachers and madrichim in religious school to my elders in the congregation, have given me a deep appreciation for community service. I will always be dedicated to service, inspired by those at Beth Meyer, who show me what it is like to fulfill mitzvot every single day. Finally, gemilut chasadim, acts of loving kindness. I would like to give a special thank you to my preschool teachers, Mora Phyllis, Mora Deborah, Mora Iris, Alea Hashalom, and to all those who fostered a community at Beth Meyer that is built on acts of loving kindness. I know that a devotion to living a life of empathy, loving connection, and kindness will stay with me no matter where I go. Again, reflecting on the Israelites' journey to Israel, there were new things to look forward to in the Promised Land, just as I look forward to new things in the next chapter of my Jewish life. 3 things that I'm excited to explore are new ways of practicing and expressing my Jewish identity and the freedom to choose what that looks like for me, exploring my relationship to Israel through a gap year, and finding out how my life as a young adult fits into the Judaism that I've inherited from my growing years in Raleigh and at Beth Meyer Synagogue. I want to acknowledge that while I am the one graduating, this is in many ways the culmination of all the love you've poured into me as a community over these last 16 years. Know that while I will be physically leaving the Beth Meyer community, this synagogue will continue to be a home to me no matter where life takes me. Toda rabba lekulam.
Shabbat shalom. Shikoach.
You good?
Yeah, shikoach. Yeah, fully approve. I'm only crying a little bit behind the mask. It's okay. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Shikoach, to our amazing representatives on behalf of the class. Kol hakavod. In honor of not only this, but the entire class, we invite everyone to rise. We invite everyone as a graduate to make their way over to the center of the bima here for a special bracha opportunity. So all those who are graduates in the congregation, all our Divrei Torah givers, Yeshikoch. Let Rabbi Jay start. Okay, we're going to come up here in the middle to see this amazing class. Why don't you guys come? I know we're kind of keeping space delicately, but we're also going to be able to see with the YouTube camera. Okay. So before I get for Clem, I'll let Rabbi Jay start. Okay.
So Rabbi Eric and I wanted to offer you all some words of Torah and a blessing, but that blessing is one that just flows through us, and not only through us, but through all of us who are just so proud of each and every one of you. So one of the verses that Maura Kathy read this morning actually had to do with an ox, a sheep, or a goat. Of course, in Leviticus, there's a lot of talk about sacrifices. But with each of these animals, there's a law that when they're born, they have to stay with their mothers for at least 8 days. And only after this 8-day period can they be offered up as sacrifices. God forbid we should offer you as sacrifices. But I was really touched to remember that truly you all are our offerings to the world. And we've been given the gift of this precious time with you, sort of the equivalent of 8 days. 8 is a number of wholeness. It's kind of a number of infinity, too. And the time that we've had watching you grow and figuring out who you are and what your special gifts are has been so precious. But it's also a reminder that that period of time is now concluding, and we're sending you off. And each one of you has a fire inside of you. And that fire, some of you all know what that fire is. Some of you are still figuring out what that fire is, but every single one of you has a fire in your belly, and we're so excited to watch you just burn bright. And the last thing I want to say is that a fire, right, has the potential for destruction, but much more importantly, in our tradition, a fire symbolizes light. And light brings both knowledge and wisdom and enlightenment. And I think even more importantly, fire brings warmth. And each one of you brings us warmth. And no matter where you go, we hope and pray that you will bring, yes, knowledge, yes, enlightenment, yes, wisdom, but most importantly, that you will bring warmth wherever you go.
Amen. 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 Oh, I'm getting verklempt again. Gewalt. All right. So, what am I going to add to Rabbi Jenny's amazing things? First, just looking at you all, and you're way too tall, first of all. It's like very difficult to see how small I feel all of a sudden. To some, okay, most of you, not all of you, but most of you.
You're certainly taller than when we
Exactly,
first
whenever you're
met.
born about mitzvahs and other times. In the preschool, looking at some of the stories that were shared and remembering back down there below, way below, seeing you, and some of you, of course, at different times have come in different, you moved here at different times, but just seeing you all here is such a celebration, even those sadly who weren't able to make it today. Just so proud of you. So I want to tell you a quick story, just another part of the Parsha that I did when I came back from college, and I thought I knew the entire world, and I still think I do. No, I'm saying, at that time I thought I knew a lot of things, and I came to my rabbi at one point, and it was relevant to this week's Torah portion. It wasn't exactly on the Parsha this week, but it was talking about the Kohanim, this idea of the priestly class. And some people in this class, in fact, have in their name Kohen in their name. And I remember saying to my rabbi and a little bit to my dad, I said, look, this Kohen thing, there's a priest, there's the rest of the Jewish people. Who cares? It's not fair. All Jews are the same. All human beings are the same. What can you mean? Why is the book of Leviticus or the Torah in general making such a big deal of separating the one group of Jews versus another? We're all the same in God's eyes. So I remember my rabbi telling me at the time, he says, okay, Eric, such a good point. Of course, we're all the same. That's true. It's true. Maybe there's things in the Torah that are a little bit dated, and we understand. He said, but, are you saying that every child in the world, yes, may be the same in terms of their equality and the different and relating God's image, but to their parents, they're special? Hopefully, every parent sees their child as not just like any child, although they should love every child, but their child is special to them. So I thought of this idea, said, so therefore it's not that every child is unequal, just like the Kohanim. It's not fair on the basis, but maybe it's special in our way because we have a special relationship with those people. And that's how I feel about you guys. I mean, there are a lot of great kids graduating high school right now, and I wish them all well. But you're our kids, okay? You're ours. You're the Beth Meyer and all your high schools and your parents. So you are special to us. You are our Kohanim and Kohanot. And I don't mean that to say the rest of them are, less than, right? But it's because you're special to us. We really, really, really love you guys. And we're really, really proud of you, wherever you go on your journey. And being special to here and to this shul and to these teachers, by the way, who've helped lift you on this journey, we're so grateful to. It means that, you always are special to us. Even if you decide to go really far away like Carolina and State, okay? You're still special to us, all right? Wherever you go. So even if you are farther away than that, okay? When you come back, and I hope you will come back, okay, for visits and other holidays, you're always going to be special to us. And I hope you know that's not just to your parents, but to us, because we've invested in you, we adore you. And whenever you go on your life's journey towards your promised land, maybe far away, journeying across the world, who knows? Just know that your home base is always here. We're always here because this is the place where you will always be special. You are always special in our eyes. You are our leaders, and we wish you the best and fly. But always know you can come back home whenever you need it. We are here for special matzo ball soup if you need and other stuff, okay? Just to get refueled physically, but refueled on the soul level too. You've done that for us, and we wish you only that God bless you on your journey. With that, we are going to offer you the priestly blessing. We invite each of you just to close your eyes for a second if you'd like, to offer prayer, and of course to our parents and families as well. To offer prayer for this wonderful special group, some who are not able to make it here today, but those that, thank God, we're holding in our virtual world as well, but obviously the ones here in our Bima, that God should bless you on this journey from this day as you go forward as graduates.
Yivarech Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Graduates, may God bless you and keep you.
Adonai panav elecha vichuneka.
May God's face shine upon you, be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God always bless you on your journey with peace. We say together, Simin Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov, Simin Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov, Simin Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov. Elanu, 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 Orach Yisrael. Elanu, Elanu, Orach Yisrael. Elanu, Elanu, Orach Yisrael. Yelanu, Yelanu, Olecho Yisrael. Okay, graduates, you are free to actually let my people go. You can return back to your seats this time. Shkoyach.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. We're so proud of you. Kfelling. We invite Rabbi Steve, another one of our esteemed teachers, Rabbi Steve Kirshner, come forward this time. He's going to lead us in the Musaf davening, starting with Chatzi Kaddish, page 184.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
ועלמא דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי.
בחיינו וימינו חיינו בית ישראל. ועגלה ועגלה ובזרם כה במהרו עמי יש מרבה מבורך. לעולם ומעלמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה.
בריאות.
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה.
צור והדר נחמתה דמירן So, Chevra, our feet together, pages 185 to 187 together. The rest is done silently.
Adonai
Sifatai tivzau v'yagid techa baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu
Elohei Avotinu v'Imateinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah v'Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Leah האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון גומר חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם, למען שמו ויהבה, מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, וחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, משני עפר, מחמוך ועל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה.
ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני
בשמו
לחיי המתים.
אמן.
נעריצך
ונקדישך אזוזיח שר וגודל המקדישים שמך קודש הגדול על יד
Tiratam Baruch Yomeru. Mim Komo. Nagid God lecha, Netzach Netzachim Kedushatecha Nagdish, V'shivchacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush leolam va'ed, Ki el melech gadol v'kadosh ata, Baruch ata Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, Uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Kol Yoshvei Tevel ve'imru. Amen.
Page 203.
Yitkaral v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
Yalmad yivra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael v'agalal v'zman kari ve'imru.
Amen. Yeshmei Rabba Memora le'olam v'yamaya yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitomam v'yitnaseh v'yitader v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha. V'ela min kol birchata v'shirata תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן ועלמה ואמרו
Amen.
תקבל צלות ההון ובאות ההון דכל ישראל קדם אבוהון דיבי שביה ואמרו
Amen.
יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו
Amen.
עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו
Amen. 204.
אין כאלוהינו
אין כאדוננו, אין כאלוהינו, אין כמושיענו מכאלוהינו, אין כאדוננו, אין כמגנו, אין כמושיענו. נודל אלוהינו, נודל אדוננו, נודל מכנו, נודל מושיענו, ברוך אלוהינו, ברוך אדוננו, ברוך מגנו, ברוך מושיענו.
תהו אלוהינו
Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Mashiach, Atahu Shekiru. Please rise. Levanecha etoret asamim. Aleinu leshaveh Adon hakol. Yotzer Bereshit, Elo Azanu Yeratzot. Osamanu mishmechot adama, shelo zamenu gahem, laleinu kechol hamanam, v'anachnu korim, shtachariv u'modim, melech
המלכים
hakadosh baruch hu. Okay, nekavel lecha Adonai ונתקן.
ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
ונאמר אדוני מלך על כל הארץ, היום ההוא, היום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד. Maybe seated, we turn to page 207. Invite those who are in mourning or observing yahrzeit to this Shabbat, holding in our prayers, of course, as well, those who tragically died in Israel this past week. We rise for our Kaddish Tome, page 207. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabba.
Amen.
Be'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchayei b'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala ubizman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach ve'olam onei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yithalal, shmei d'kudisha.
בריחו.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran bi'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom v'yimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Maybe see everyone. Shabbat shalom. Mazal tov again to our graduates and to their families. We're so blessed to be here together to celebrate, and to our teachers and have our opportunity educators to be here together, some of us at least, and all you at home as well. Some announcements. It is Good Deeds Day tomorrow. Many volunteers opportunities, including amazing, led by Stephen Schneider as usual, amazing mitzvah doer, semi-annual blood drive, sponsored by the Men's Club. I assume they'll take place in the parking lot, Stephen, is that right? Or in social hall? Okay, actually, going to be inside. Okay, we're in social hall tomorrow. We have a speaker Monday night. We've had throughout the year, thanks to Julia. This Monday night at 7:30 will be the North Carolina Museum of Art, Parks, and Wildlife spokesperson. Our next Shabbat Mishpacha, Shabbat, led by Rabbi Jenny and I assist her as well, is May 7th. So next Friday night, Shabbat, 6:30 p.m. We are allowing in-person attendance with registration as well as always a YouTube option for those who don't feel comfortable. The holiday of Shavuot, we're counting the days from Pesach to Shavuot. It's coming in about 2.5 weeks or so. It'll be on Sunday, May 16th. It will kick off in the morning through the religious school led by Kathy Kaplan. From 10 a.m. to noon, students pre-K through 5th grade with siblings and families will have outside learning about Shavuot with crafts and games, plus making ice cream. I will definitely be there, okay? Followed by a family ice cream social. I'm there too. From 12 to 2 with Lumpy's ice cream truck will be here. And then a Shavuot schmooze from 2 to 4 hangout with cheesecake and other dairy. Just make sure you take your lactose stuff beforehand, okay, on that day. And then Tikkun Leil Shavuot at 7 p.m. with an amazing Jewish farming panel. We're going to study together, Jewish farming panel, an evening service, and study throughout the night with other shuls in North Carolina together on Zoom and other opportunities. Just so you know, the Jewish farming panel, there are now 3 farms in North Carolina that identify themselves as not just being farms in general, which is amazing, but Jewish farming, where Jewish laws from the Torah and practices are coming together. One in Asheville, one outside of Hillsborough, and one in downtown Raleigh here, led by Arthur and Anya Gordon. So it could be an amazing opportunity to hear about what they're creating there. And Shavuot services will be Monday, May 17th at 10 a.m. and Tuesday as well at 10 a.m. with Yisker. So unless there are other announcements to be made, we will conclude now with Don Olam. Okay, Rabbi Steve on page 211.
Adon Olam,
Hashem alav eterem bo yitzir li'ed nasa v'esoko azar melech shemoni avi ahare ilot hakol levado im lo nora ehu hayav ehu hover ehu yeh v'tiva avehu echad ein sheni lehamshir lo lehavira v'lireishi v'litachni Elohaoz v'hamizrah vehu li v'chai goa li v'tzorchev li b'yet sahara vehu nisi umanos li v'nat kosi. Please rise. Be'ado kidruchi v'yet isha v'ya'ira Imrochi Eviati Adonai Velo Ira
Hakim Verach Adonai Yom HaShabbat Vayikachehu Sabri
L'chaim
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Parei Peri Agafe.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Mazal Tov to our graduates again. Shkoyach. Shkoyach, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat
everyone.
Shalom at home.
Tzur Yisrael Kuma Bezrat Yisrael Kuma Uftechinu Mecha Yehuda Yisrael Tzur Yisrael Kuma Goalenu Adonai Tzvaot Shemo Kedosh 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 Yisrael Sur Yisrael Kuma Bezrat Yisrael Kuma Uftechinu Mecha Yehuda Yisrael Kedosh, Kedosh, Kedosh,